Happy Monday, everyone. It's April 13th, 2020. New week, new opportunities, and a new month on the horizon. I know this past weekend was Easter, and I hope everyone had a great Easter. I know this Easter may have been a little bit different for some, but the message is still the same. A little bit more Jesus, a little bit more family. On the last episode, we discussed a few different topics that moved me, and I felt like I needed to share with you guys. And today, I wanted to thank everyone for the feedback. It means a lot that I'm able to help someone or somebody with a mentality that I once had or still have at times and point them in the right direction to be able to break down those barriers and come out of that shell. I know with these podcasts and vodcasts, I feel like a fish out of water that eventually trusts and figures out how to adapt to a changing environment. As time progresses, we all eventually figure out why certain things happen to us. Despite the trials and tribulations that come from curiosity, even a baby figures out, if I do this, I'll get attention, or if I do that, I'll get a spanking. Without the proper guidance and structure, will we ever get the opportunity to experience the wonders that God has promised His people? Think about that for a minute. I know a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Matthew 22:14, that many are chosen, but few are called, which leads me to my next series called Coach, Creating Opportunities and Casting Hope. I'll have a couple episodes dedicated to a word that tends to get overlooked, watered down, or even taken for granted. Have you ever sensed God prompting you to communicate the truth of His word with love and without fear, but you prefer to remain silent? I have, numerous of times, but eventually I got up and did something about that. Every morning that alarm goes off, without realizing it, you got to coach yourself to get out of bed, to stick to that morning routine, and get out the door and get to work on time. Well, you might be saying, with everything that's going on, my job is temporarily shut down. For the first couple of days, it's natural to sleep in. I would. But eventually, you got to have a plan of action for the day and moving forward. To coach starts with self-love, self-respect, and self-motivation. Remember, creating opportunities and casting hope is my acronym or definition of coach. Self-respect and self-motivation was easy to come by as a kid. Well, I assumed it did. Self-respect can come in many different forms. My parents taught me in an early age that making good decisions, being friendly, hang around encouraging people, respect others, don't lie, and how you dress and how you carry yourself are all forms of self-respect. I knew I was different when I came out the womb, wearing penny loafers, sweater vests, slacks, and Kango hats. And how people perceived me, I never knew how, why, or what it meant. I just assumed everyone had the same opportunities. I'll share a quick story with you guys. Not many, if any, first graders start and open a bank account. No, not a piggy bank, an actual bank account that I made weekly or monthly deposits in. It's crazy to think about, because during this time of self-isolation, I tend to reflect back on my childhood and things that I did as a kid, how fearless I was, and as older as I got, how much more fear for my peers and what other people thought about me grew. And I kind of lost myself in my ways for a while there, for a long time actually. I really did. And thank God that he spoke to me about this idea, this path that He got me on right now, and this bloodstream, the core of who you are. And man, it's really opening my eyes, because the books I've been reading and the help that I've been getting, it's definitely made me a better man, and definitely wanted to continue to share that with you guys week in and week out, or whenever I'm able to post these videos and podcasts. But I'm definitely thankful that he spoke to me, and I'm speaking to you guys as well. Just like any young entrepreneur, eager to make $1, flip into 10, and so forth, day in and day out, that self-respect grew into self-motivation. Not let my family down, not let my friends down, and that little voice that speaks to you tends to put expectations on myself, and that I had to live up to. Being on time, not forgetting my homework, not acting up in class. Being the biggest kid came with certain expectations, fair or not. I had to learn how to coach myself, creating opportunities and casting hope for teachers, bus drivers, coaches, and peers. And if I had any energy left, maybe a little bit for myself. But as you know, because either you do it or know someone that does, you tend to put other people's needs first and yours on the back burner. And as a kid, the son of a retired NFL player, following in those shadows of those athletic and academic accomplishments, and then following in those shadows of your older siblings' accomplishments, it should give you some self-respect, self-motivation, something to strive for. But it can also provide self-anxiety, self-fear, and self-doubt. As kids, we tend to listen to our friends and how we should think, how we should act, and what we should watch and listen to, and things of that nature. But fortunately, I really had some good friends growing up, but I never knew how to trust anyone besides myself. God says in his word to never put trust in man, and because those things either are done out of spite or they eventually fade away. Just imagine my big ass getting off the bus in grade school and middle school, before school started, dressed in my slack sweater vest, Kango hats, or my boots and penny loafers, playing flag football, 2-on-2 or 5-on-5 basketball, trying to prove to everyone that I belonged. And that was definitely tough to live with and live in, but here I am this day telling you guys about it. But this is a little snippet of the first episode of the series called Coach. Again, it's called Coach, creating opportunities and casting hope. Hopefully this will definitely be interesting to you guys as it is to me. And hey, stay tuned.